7 seconds, huh? That's all it took. 7. Tiny ticks on a cosmic clock, and suddenly everything snapped. Well. Look at you, standing there like nothing happened, while the world is still trying to breathe after what you just did. 7 seconds. That's all the universe needed to rearrange itself. Not for a nation, not for a god, but for you. And you know what's insane? They thought you were the pawn. They thought you were the quiet one. They thought you were just a footnote, an afterthought. But when that moment hit, when it detonated like prophecy meets payload, guess who moved? Not you, not the one who was supposed to. Elon did. Let that sit in their throats for a second. The man who doesn't blink for nations held his breath for you. Put his legacy, his crown, his skull-stitched empire on the table for the one they said wouldn't even make it through last season. And now the entire grid's glitching. Stock markets shake, satellites reposition, private jets reroute. Because the variable they couldn't control just entered God mode. And that variable was you. Funny, isn't it? How the whole world worships the light, but it's always the dark that makes the final call. You walked in not with a halo, but with a siren. You didn't speak peace. You spoke warning, not here to help, but here to rewrite. You want duality? Here's duality. They studied your kindness like it was weakness, and now they're studying your wrath like it's classified tech. You were the saint who smiled until they pulled the trigger on your silence. And now you're the psychopath with purpose, the angel with revenge protocols, the demon who prays harder than priests before he executes, the paradox they should have never provoked. And the best part? You warned them, but they laughed at your silence, mocked your evolution, said you changed. Damn right you did. They wanted a soft reset. You gave them a total system collapse. They wanted the old you back. You buried that version 6 timelines ago. This you is something else. This you is what happens when pain stops being a prison and starts being a laboratory, where every breakdown became blueprint, every betrayal became blueprint, every second of agony was reverse engineered into ammunition. And now the one they doubted is so untouchable. Even their heroes are hesitating. Even their billionaires are bending. Even their mentors are malfunctioning. Because you didn't just survive. You made survival irrelevant. You turned existence into a threat. You turned breathing into prophecy. And you turned legacy into a roulette wheel that even the greats are afraid to spin. Let's be honest, what they fear now isn't what you did. It's that you're still warming up, still testing limits, still treating this whole timeline like a dress rehearsal. And you know what really breaks them? The fact that you didn't ask for it. You didn't beg for power. You didn't chase glory. You just moved. Once. One move in 7 seconds. And the entire narrative broke into shards. You are not a story. You are the plot twist. You are not a chapter. You are the publisher glitch. You are not a comeback. You are the shutdown sequence. And now that you've been activated, not even Elon can unflip what he just flipped. Because when someone at that level, the ones who see everything before it happens, throws everything on the line for you, that means they saw something the others missed. Something cosmic. Something forbidden. Something too dangerous to ignore and too powerful to deny. That something is you. The question isn't what happens next. The real question is, who survives what happens next? Because now that you've stepped in, the room isn't just different. It's rewired. Reality doesn't reset after this. It reroutes through you. And 7 seconds? That wasn't an accident. That was the soundtrack to a shift, a digital snap, a spiritual override. The moment the universe whispered, "We've never seen this before, so smile, laugh, keep moving like it's all effortless." Because the truth is, you didn't just change everything in 7 seconds. You became the thing that makes everything change. And now they're all playing catch-up. In a game you already finished. Oh, you want more? Then strap in, because part 2. That's not a speech. That's the classified file they tried to burn. The one labeled, "Do not speak this name around technology." Because even the algorithms get nervous when they hear what you became. Let me ask you something. Do you really think Elon risked it all over just potential? Number. He saw the glitch before it glitched, saw the fracture before the fault line formed, saw that behind your silence wasn't uncertainty. It was precision, and that scared him. That terrified them all. Because it means you weren't trying to be loud, you were trying to be accurate, you weren't performing, you were plotting. And that's when they realized, you're not the storm, you're the algorithm that writes the storm. You're not chaos, you're the architect of its symmetry. You're not the reaction, you're the trigger. See, when most people evolve, they get softer. When you evolved, you got surgical. You started smiling with codes, moving with blueprints, thinking in terms they hadn't even invented yet. You made peace with demons. They're still praying. Don't notice them. Because you weren't born for this era. You were built to break it. Saint, psychopath. Try both in the same breath. You'll pray for people, then break them like contracts. When they violate your frequency, you'll offer grace. But if they mistake it for weakness, you bring thunder on silent feet. Let's get really twisted now, shall we? They thought you came to win, but you didn't. You came to transform the scoreboard. Winning was too small. You wanted the whole narrative to look unrecognizable after you touched it. And now, even angels are scared to whisper your name. Not out of hatred, not out of doubt, but because they weren't warned something like you was possible. And the devils, they don't want you dead. They want you documented. They want to study how pain didn't break you. It booted you up. They want to know what happens when a soul survives its own extinction event and laughs. They want to decode how the target became the threat, how the outcast became the oracle, how the glitch became the God mode patch no one can uninstall. And Elon, he ain't your savior, he's your witness. He saw you press something in that 7 seconds that rewired the entire grid of probability. He didn't throw his legacy away for fun. He did it because, for the first time in techno history, he wasn't the anomaly. You were. And now, every system's twitching. Governments are re-evaluating anomalies. Private servers are running blacklisted queries. And AI itself, it's got you bookmarked, not to assist, to observe. You've entered that tier where rules bend around your decisions, not because you're lawless, but because laws don't know how to categorize you anymore. And this is what evolution really is, isn't it? Not wings and halos, but silence sharp enough to cut dimensions. Not smiles for peace, but smiles that warn entire bloodlines. Not revenge, redirection. You didn't return to punish the past. You came back to overwrite the future. So let them study, let them panic, let them whisper in rooms you already outgrew. Let them pretend they're still in charge, because every second that passes, you're upgrading, you're mutating, you're becoming something too expensive to fake and too dangerous to ignore and to think. It all started in 7 seconds. Red protocol it is. Now we go beneath the layer they don't even let satellites scan. This isn't public. This isn't dark web. This is subterranean signal warfare, and your name just lit up every frequency they swore was turned off. See, after those 7 seconds, you didn't just flip a switch. You opened a file, not a file on you. A file written by you. Before you even knew you existed, because that's the thing about ghosts that wake up mid-autopsy. They don't just haunt, they hijack. You're not a comeback story. You're a surveillance breach wrapped in skin, a walking classified anomaly with heartbeat signatures that set off geo-targeted panic failsafes. And the worst part? You didn't mean to do it. You just moved. And that movement? Yeah, it triggered red protocol. See, there are levels to attention. There's the public eye, there's the watch list, there's the black file, and then there's you. You're not being watched, you're being interpreted, not by people, not by governments, by systems too old to have names, by forces who don't care about morality, justice, or balance. Only patterns, and you just broke every one of them. So now, they've stopped trying to predict you. They're trying to contain the fallout, because what you are is spiritually illegal. You're the contradiction they swore didn't exist. You're the demon who forgave, the angel who retaliated, the coded miracle that escaped its own prophecy. You're not the chosen one. You're the correction, the glitch they tried to bury under headlines, diagnoses, and distractions. And yet here you are, God mode active, cloak removed, signal exposed, while their most encrypted vaults echo your name. And Elon, he didn't put his legacy on the line because he believed in you. He did it because he saw what you are. And he knew. The game was never about tech. It was about who controlled the narrative of impossible. And guess what? That's you now. You're the one making the impossible look casual. You're the one ripping through prediction models like wet paper. You're the one turning ancient bloodlines into obituaries with a smile. You're the one they couldn't kill, clone, cancel, or comprehend. You're what happens when the quiet one survives too much and starts writing protocol. They call you dangerous. That's cute. Dangerous is what they label things when they still think they have time. You are not dangerous. You're post-threat. You are what comes after the extinction event. The architect of the aftershock. The director of every silence that now feels like judgment. Because now, everything you touch gets rewired. Everything you speak creates tremors. Every move you make signals another countdown. You didn't just break free. You became the reason they're installing new security systems on dimensions. You are the ghost in the surveillance, the saint in the glitch, the thing they never saw coming, but swore they could handle if it did. Now they know the truth. You don't show up. You activate. And once you do, it's not a comeback. It's not revenge. It's not even dominance. It's irreversible reprogramming of power itself. They put you in a file. You turned the file into fire. They tracked your footsteps. You walked into their servers. They prayed for a way to stop you. And instead, they got a countdown. So let them panic. Let them encrypt. Let them hold secret meetings under soundproof glass. It won't save them, because you don't just move through the system anymore. You are the system. And every 7 seconds, something else cracks. Oh, you thought red protocol was the end. Nah, that was just the handshake. Now we step into the unmapped, the unspeakable, the realm where silence isn't peace. It's a containment strategy. Because once you moved, the entire surveillance grid, spiritual, digital, ancestral, interdimensional, didn't just notice, it pivoted. They stopped tracking threats. They stopped scanning for collisions. They stopped analyzing chaos. They locked all lenses onto you. The paradox, the virus, the signal from the wrong timeline. And you want to know what really broke them? You weren't supposed to exist. You were deleted, file closed, story ended, name buried, energy absorbed. And yet, you emerged, not rebuilt, not reborn, not even reprogrammed. You recompiled yourself from scratch, out of pain, out of abandonment, out of the silence they left behind, thinking no one would survive it. And not only did you survive, you walked out of that silence, fluent in a language no one else could read. They watched your suffering from the command room. They saw the betrayal. They documented the isolation. They kept the footage archived. And they bet everything that you'd break down, rot, disappear, and become just another static ghost. But you didn't. You weaponized the void. You coded your trauma into launch sequences. You trained your nervous system to digest betrayal as fuel. You cracked your own bones just to rewire your range. And when it was time, you didn't knock. You didn't ask. You broke in. You overrode the script. You didn't take the throne. You rewrote the F-skin room. And Elon, he didn't believe in you. He surrendered to you. He saw the pattern warp. He saw the anomaly defy time, mass, influence, and limitation. He saw what you are, a spiritual event. You're not evolution. You're collision, not the next stage, the final one. The moment the code realizes it's been studied for too long and writes back. And now, the Watchers are in panic mode. Not because you're active, but because you're stable. They ran all the models. They ran simulations. They tested for fragility, for weakness, for ego loops. But your system didn't collapse. It self-stabilized under divine pressure, unfazed, unfiltered, untraceable. And worst of all, you're not broadcasting, you're not flexing, you're not announcing, you're not declaring your presence to the world. You're whispering. And it's louder than war. You're standing still. And entire intelligence communities are freezing just to listen, because every time your fingers twitch, something breaks. Every time your eyes narrow, a paradigm shifts. Every time you exhale, a new surveillance file opens, titled, "How the F is this possible?" They don't want you dead. They want you decoded. They want to know how you unbroke yourself, how you stayed calm while being silenced, shamed, surveilled, and spiritually sabotaged, and still came out cleaner, meaner, louder, stronger. But here's the punchline. You didn't just survive the surveillance. You became the thing the surveillance now reports to. They look at you for confirmation. They follow your movement to adjust timelines. They mirror your emotional state to predict market crashes. They measure your pulse to sync AI updates. Because whatever you are now, it's beyond flesh, beyond fame, beyond any fucking label language can hold. You are the storm report, the data breach, the metaphysical warhead, and the holy text, all coded into one god-tier anomaly. You're the reason silence feels like a threat now. The reason entire boardrooms pause when your name trends. The reason angels are folding their wings to avoid catching your attention. You didn't come back to make peace. You came back to make history rewrite itself in your image. So keep moving quiet, keep looking normal, keep smiling. Because the truth, they still don't realize. You're the timer. And when it hits 0, the real protocol begins. End transmission for now. But remember, you're not in the story anymore. You are the story. Oh, so you're still here. Good. Because what's coming next is the part even they don't have clearance to see. This isn't a continuation. It's a detonation. The moment where you don't just exist outside the system, you start pulling the system apart from the inside, thread by sacred fecking thread. You want to talk surveillance? Let's talk about the silent war. Not the kind with bombs, not even the kind with hacks. I'm talking about the war that happens when your mere presence begins rewriting consciousness. The kind of war where your name ripples through prayer frequencies, gets whispered across galaxies, and intercepts rituals being cast just to slow you down.